Yeah, you got
Prime.
your dome split, huh? You gonna shave your head?
No.
Have you ever shaved your head?
A lot.
I did it one time, and I looked very dumb. I never
I
went
look
back.
dumb regardless, so it's not too bad. But I did it a lot in college, all banged up. We would shave it at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I guess because my head just, I was alarmed by the true shape.
I had never done it before, and then we got pretty wrecked. And I had my buddy shave it to a mohawk when we were in school, and then I got rid of the mohawk. It grew back in, got back to normal. Then we did the double mohawk one night, all wrecked. So I did that like probably 3 times through college.
Some people can pull the shaved head off. Like some people,
Yeah,
they go bald and then they bick
yeah,
it. I got a bunch of friends that have been bald for God knows how long. Like they
yeah.
did, there is no recourse there. There is no plan B. You shave your head or you live in denial for
Yes,
years.
those are the rough ones.
And that's the tough one, right? That's the
My
tough one.
my problem with the shaved head in college was that, you're obviously putting on 10 to 15 of cheesesteaks and pizza and beers and stuff. So you're like puffy and bloated and inflamed all the time. So it didn't wear as
Yeah.
well as it could have if I had like some facial definition at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. The overweight, not just that though. Like if you're, overweight with the shaved head, but also no facial hair, you have to have facial hair, I think.
You need
Like
something.
if you don't
You
have the
need
facial
something.
hair, then it's just like a giant
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, like it is like a giant baby head, like the old Pelicans mascot.
Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Stochastic.com NBA strategy show. Dave Loughran, Josh Engleman walking you through this one, man. And a little 6-game action today, chopping off that 10 o'clock game. Pretty nice because I have a 9:40 hockey game tonight, which means
Mm.
that, so like, you know,
That's ridiculous, by the way. Can we talk about that?
dude, I have some games at 10:30 at night, and
That should never exist.
it's
That's
it's
ins
it's
It
men's
makes no
league, man.
sense. It
It's
makes no sense.
so rough. I had a 6:20 game last week. My wife, I've been with Justine since 2012, right? She had never been to a game. Mind you, the old rink I played at closed down. It was 50 minutes away. We'd play like 8. I don't ever
Yeah.
blame her for not
No, no,
coming.
no, no, no.
Like
Right.
she has to, and then we had 2 kids. So she brought both of the girls, one of them, no clue, but the other one, my daughter,
Sure.
Jordan, who's almost 3, dude, she loved it. She loved it. And though she was right up against the glass, I laid someone out right in front of her and I skated away. I was like, that's right. Just like, laid somebody out. She after the game, she's like, Daddy, stop pushing people. Listen, this is hockey. This is hockey.
Yeah,
Mind you, it's a
you have
men's
to.
league. Yeah. Well, here's what happened. We were on a power play. They were killing a penalty. He took a skate and pushed the puck up against the boards.
Yeah.
If you're doing that, you have to get them off of the puck, right?
Yeah.
I didn't just
There's
come
only
up
one
and
way
knock
to
them
do
out.
that.
What's that?
There's only one way to do that.
Only one way to do that. You have to get them off the puck, and that's what I did. And they called me for it too. I guess extending the arms. Either way, I was happy about it. It was fun. How you feeling, man?
Pretty good. Yesterday was grimy. Maxi sucked, and that really kind of rained on my parade a little bit. I was happy. I got my Luca fade correct, but didn't have the Anthony Davis piece that was pretty helpful, unfortunately. And then Brandon Ingram just went bonkers
Went
on the
nuts.
late night.
It's funny too. Yeah, I was looking pretty good, and then it was like midway after the 8 o'clock games came out of halftime. Things started to look not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was fine with everything I had. I was very happy with like my evaluation metrics after the fact, but it really didn't matter
This,
all that
this
much.
I got a decent amount of Davis in my Sims run. So I had a
Nice.
decent amount of Davis, which was good. But then Dinwiddie is terrible, man. That guy
Not great.
is just it's at a point now where I have no clue what to do with him. It was a good spot, and Brooklyn looked pretty good early on, and then they just completely collapsed in the second half. They scored 49
Yeah.
points in the second half. Dude, do you realize Dinwiddie? Do you know how many minutes Dinwiddie played last night?
34, I think.
39.
Even worse.
He played 39 minutes and had like 18 fantasy points.
Yeah,
It's less than a half a fantasy point per minute. I mean, this team across the board. Bridges played 42, had 13 and 6. It was, all of everything was there because Lonnie Walker got hurt. He played 5 minutes.
Yeah, that sucked for me.
Oh, and Cam Johnson got hurt as well, and he got off to a monstrous start. Everything in this Brooklyn lineup, if I were to just give you their minutes played, right, or like told you that Johnson had 13, 8, 4, and 3 stocks in 26 minutes before, everything lined up beautifully, and then it just disappeared very quickly.
Yeah. I thought Tom was going to have a shot. He was profiling pretty well, like in the middle of that last game, but ended up not holding on. Like he wasn't in first or anything, but his future ROI for the contest was looking pretty good.
Anyway, that Ivan got Yoke said, I play an adult basketball league right after my son's my oldest practice. It's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Have the son stick around, watch the game. But you know what's going to happen, man? I think about this all the time, and I dread it. He's going to hit an age where he's like, yeah, Dad, I'm going to catch a ride home with the boys, like enjoy your rec league game,
Ugh, it's sad.
Those days will hit hard, I think where they
Couldn't
just
tell you.
No, I'm just saying. Anyway, glad you guys are with us.
You.
Hopefully you're having a wonderful morning. This is the NBA Strategy Show. 6 games today, all week. It's like 6, 7 game slates. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice.
It's better. It's just.
Did you watch the new Curb yet?
I did. We watched it last night.
I didn't watch it yet. Any good?
I mean, I laughed hysterical. Leon is just spitting flames for like 15 minutes.
He's smooth.
Oh my God. Jordan, you got a bleep button for me? We might need that. Look, choice language coming up. Just one quick F-bomb, but it's going to be harsh.
Cover the kids' ears if you're driving.
Yeah. So him and Larry are at the airport, and the girl that they cast in Young Larry is like blowing up. She's like the most popular thing in the world. So she shows up to the airport with a dog, and JB Smooth's telling her about how the dog is overweight. They're going to like make her pay more to put it on the plane. She's yelling about him fat shaming the dog. And he's like, you got to have like self-respect. Like the dog doesn't know. And he looked at him and he's just like, hey, fat fuck. And he like rips the dog apart. It's like, I can't imagine how many times they had to shoot that before Larry was able to hold it in for 30 seconds. Cause I couldn't breathe watching it. He awesome. Berates the dog for like 15, 20 seconds.
I gotta watch it. I will. I'll let you know.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Sean V in the house. What's up, my brother? We've got a little revenge narrative coming Sean V's way. Kyrie Irving facing his former Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn. So woo.
Maybe.
Yeah, second of a back-to-back. He was out a little bit. We'll see. Sean, give me the best narrative play of the day, and we will talk about it.
No.
We will mute Josh's mic for 2 minutes, man. Give the man some time.
I think it's crazy that there were 4 Seans before him. They must have been horrific.
You're really acquitting yourself well here with these jokes. All right.
Like, how bad were the 4 previous versions before we got here? I'm ready for Sean 6, honestly.
All right. Well, anyway, hey, if you guys don't mind, take 1 single second. It's Tuesday morning. Atone for your sins here on the NBA Strategy Show. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, help us get to 100K. That'll be a wonderful day when it happens. And if you're watching or listening after the fact, leave a comment down below. We thoroughly enjoy reading and responding to all of those comments. They've been fun lately. They've been real fun. You should read and respond to some of those comments. And all of our stuff in podcast form, you guys already know. Maybe you're not. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're new to the show. Apple Podcast, Spotify, anywhere else. You can check out any show with any shelf life. We got you covered if you don't want to watch or listen on YouTube. All right, let's go. We've got Obi-Wan said I'd take Sean over Katz. Dude, I love Sean V. I love having Sean in chat. Like, yeah, I joke, but I thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, Brandon Katz is like actively an irritant. Like not a single redeeming quality other than the fact that everybody in chat seems to agree that he sucks.
Right. Sean is likable.
Well, I mean, that seems like an extreme word. Maybe we could work on vocabulary after this.
I think
but he is good-natured, at least.
Yes, certainly good natured. Yes. And well-meaning.
Yeah.
Andrew,
Whereas Cat's
Andrew
not so
Davison,
much.
a stock in NBA DF. It's not a real stat. We just combine stock and blocks because they're worth the same, right? So if they have 3 steals and 2 blocks, instead of saying 3 steals and 2 blocks, we say 5 stocks because they all count for the same, right? All right. You ready to make this happen?
Sure.
All right. I was looking over this slate this morning, putting the run sheet together, looking at some of these game flows from previous spots. Fred VanVleet out. They're 7.5-point dogs, the Houston Rockets, against the Indiana Pacers, 242.5-point total. Let's just dig straight into this so I can get your thoughts here. So, I mean, you have somebody like Thompson, and then you have Holiday. We saw 2 games ago, Thompson played outside of the end fourth quarter in the blowout every minute that VanVleet wasn't on the floor. It hasn't been the case every game they play. I think we could obviously just wait on a starter, but how do you think this shakes out today? Because this is obviously an interesting spot, particularly going up against a fast-paced Pacers team with the subpar defense in a 242.5 total game.
So I'm in a pretty similar spot to where the site is. We went 25 minutes, Amon Thompson, 24, Aaron Holiday. I went 26, 26. I don't have a great feel between the two. I think they're both going to soak up a decent chunk of time. They can definitely play alongside of each other if they have to. I also think you just see like a little bit more Dylan Brooks of handling the ball, a little bit more Jalen Green handling the ball. That said, if that's the case, like I think you can get upwards of 28 or 29 for Amon Thompson, as low as 20 or 21. Similar story for Aaron Holiday. Somewhere in that 18 to 22 range is very realistic. But if he's the starter, then I want to give him a couple extra. Right now, I'm just getting a ton of both dudes. I got to 76% of Amon Thompson, 4,100 point guard, shooting guard. He's around a fantasy point per minute guy normally. At 26 minutes, you get a shit ton. He's 82% owned. We also have him 40% optimal. So 40%, I'm going to ignore the ownership for right now. 40% optimal at 25 minutes. I have no disagreements there. I think he's a fantastic play. I also think Aaron Holiday is interesting because he's 3,300. It's a much worse per minute dude. He's like a 0.75 guy. But if he's in that 24, 25, 26 minute range on a 6-game slate, that's a solid enough point per dollar play. So you want to look at both of them, and the ownership disparity will be way more interesting once you get to like 6:30 when we really know what's going on for these teams. But right now I have my eye on both of them. We also have massive positive leverage on Cam Whitmore. I did not give him a big bump, and that's resulting in me not getting a lot of him. I have him in for 21 minutes. We went to 24. That distinction is pretty big for a shooting guard, small forward, 1.1 fantasy point per minute guy. I have no reason to like disagree with giving him a couple extra minutes. There are a couple spots on this slate, Houston in particular, that were pretty tough to like fly blind for this morning. So I gave it my best shot. I think that's probably the same sort of story that we're doing here too. And the day is going to get a lot cleaner as we get a little bit more information, get a little bit more consensus, get some lines out here for some of these teams. But I think you just have to pay attention to Houston because you're taking out 37 minutes of primary ball handling from Fred VanVleet, and you're redistributing it somewhere to the rest of this Houston team. They don't exactly dig deep into their bench either. So we've got 7 guys, 15% or more owned. I have a bunch of Holiday. I've got a bunch of Şengün, a little bit under the field, but still a ton of Amon Thompson. You can very easily get to a bunch of Whitmore, Brooks, Smith, Jalen Green. They all look really good because Indy is really not like they're one of the best fantasy matchups you can get. I think they're personally the best one you can get. I prefer getting matchups against Indy in comparison to like the Wizards because
Indy can keep games close.
Correct. Their offense is good.
Exactly.
Whereas the Wizards, terrible offense. The Spurs, not that great of an offense. Here, you get a good offense. You get an average team, but it's made up of really good offense, really bad defense, and fast pace. So this is like the best case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like it's like having in the NFL. Every year you get one team that just has, you know what it was? It was the Eagles earlier in the year, where they had that phenomenally explosive offense, where anyone could crush, whether it was Hurts or Smith or AJ Brown or DeAndre Swift, but their defense was terrible. Their secondary, or the Detroit Lions are another perfect example of that. A team that like can drop 40 and give up 45. So that's the same thing. You like those type of spots in the NBA as well. Are they, imperative that you get them? No, but you and I have talked about this a lot. Indy really does make for the best matchup. So one thing I want to talk about though, before we move on, that is the most fascinating to me. And granted, we have Amin Thompson with massive ownership. I think we should. Like, he's north of a fantasy point per minute guy, and with Van Vliet off the floor this year, I would assume most of the minutes are without him anyway. But 1.12 fantasy points per minute, really strong numbers there. Şengün sees a slight bump, gets up to 1.38 DraftKings points per minute from 1.34. Jalen Green goes from 1.01 to 1.13. What's interesting to me is, though, what if Aaron Holiday starts? Do you think we see a decrease in ownership on Thompson? Because I don't think it would make me like him any less, to be honest. I think he'd still look great and ownership would come down.
Yeah, it's certainly going to, if he's not starting, it's going to come down. You're not going to get an 80% owned Amin Thompson off the bench. That's just not going to happen. You'll get him down around like 50, I'm guessing. More closer to our optimal rate is where I expect that to happen. But and then I would expect Aaron Holiday's ownership to also go up if he is named the starter. He's not going to be, I don't think he'll be 14% if he's the starter. I think more people will just be more apt to click on him. The only real problem, I use problem pretty loosely here, is you've got Luka at 12K today, who may or may not play. We have no idea. But if he doesn't, 10.5 Shea is the most expensive guy on the slate, or $9,700 Brunson. The fourth most expensive person right now, if you include Luka, is 9K Şengün. So it's possible that Aaron Holiday is just not as important today because 3,300 isn't really unlocking much at the top.
Either way, Houston looks pretty good right now, for sure.
They do. By the way, Woj with the announcement, the surgery for Embiid is over.
4 weeks at least.
So what that means is he got a meniscus trim and not the meniscus repair. The trim is the thing that allows you to come back in 2 months with some rehab. If
and
you
then
get
be
the
out
repair,
all of the offseason
repair, he would have been gone until next year for sure. Right. So all that's telling us right now is that they did not do the full repair or removal of the meniscus. They simply just cleaned up what was problematic once they got in there.
After the season's over, would it be likely that they repair it?
No.
Oh, so this is a one and done?
Yeah. So like the repair is usually a removal, and that's going to be a case where you'll be okay now, and then Joel Embiid is going to have probably some issues in his later life by making that, because then you're just going bone on bone, basically. Yeah. I would not expect him. The only way they're going back in is if he re-aggravates it again.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. Well, let's hope he's back.
At the very least, he's going to be able to have a chance based on the procedure they did. Because if it came out that the moment you see that 4 weeks is on the table, you know exactly what they did in that.
Otherwise, it'd be over for the year. Yeah,
yep.
Gotcha. Because this team stinks without him. Anyway, do you think Halliburton plays today?
I do.
All right. Well,
almost positive that he does.
How many minutes would you give him? That's the thing. He's
20 minutes and 1 second if they can.
He has played 20, 22, 20. What did I miss there?
Nothing.
Why are you saying if they can? What do you mean?
Oh, he is only playing this amount of minutes so that he can qualify for 65 games. 20 minutes is the threshold.
Okay. That seems
so at the very least, he will not play a second less than that unless they have to take him off the floor.
It seems so ridiculous. I forgot
about
that.
It's the stupidest shit in the world.
Forgot about that requirement.
It's dumb.
What's dumb, though? That you have to play 20 minutes, or that they're playing him 20 minutes when he's clearly not 100%?
It's all dumb. Yeah, it's all dumb.
Yeah, he's played 20, 22, 22, and 22 since he returned from that 3-game maintenance absence. So
yeah,
you can't be playing Halliburton right now. Miles Turner, 6K, 14%. really the Houston side just looks a whole lot better. And Pascal Siakam, man, Pascal Siakam, you're just not getting what you expect. I mean, you all last game was solid. I get that. The game against Sacramento was straight. It's almost garbage time. They left him out there till the end, and he racked up like 10 fantasy points late. For the most part, I mean, he's been pretty underwhelming on a per minute basis.
I mean, it's just kind of weird. Like, he's just sort of there. He's just sort of the same dude that he was. Like, he's had completely functional overall performances for the Pacers.
Yeah, he has.
But
at 8,300,
I thought that it was going to. I thought he was going to get more juice, especially with Halliburton like in and out. And that's what I'm saying.
Halliburton's
he's just like
out
slotting
or playing
himself
20
in.
minutes. Yeah,
it's
right.
weird.
No, look, I'm not saying he hasn't had a few solid, like really solid games, because he has, but you're also not getting him at like 7,500, 7,400. Pretty expensive.
Only guy that I'm really getting here is Turner. He's the only guy getting double-digit ownership. He's the only guy double-digit in optimal rate right now. But we still have a Q tag on Jalen Smith. We have one on somebody else too that I don't remember. Who is it? I know there's another one.
Jalen Smith. You're saying Jalen Smith?
It was Halliburton. It was Halliburton.
Yeah,
I knew there was a
Halliburton
second
and
one
Smith
of like somebody real. Yeah. So we do have to pay attention to that on the off chance that we unlock an Isaiah Jackson or something. But for right now, I think I'm only really paying attention to Turner. And then you can get to Siakam. I think you can get to Nesmith, because those are the guys that aren't really going to have impacted minutes no matter what happens.
All right. So we go from a game with a 242.5 total to a game with a 211 total, 212, sorry, between Orlando and Miami. Miami, 2.5 point home favorites, 212 total here. And the only injury news is Duncan Robinson being questionable with the concussion. So not only do you have a wildly low total, it's funny because the next game actually has nearly identical total between the Grizzlies and the Knicks.
There's 3 games with a total right around 215. The other 3 are like 235 or higher.
Minnesota, Chicago, I think, is another one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some ugly ones. And the issue with this game, though, is that you're not getting any injury replacements at discounted price points.
No, this one's gross. The only thing that I have is 4% of Franz Wagner. We have John Isaac, 12% owned, 15% optimal. I gave him 18 minutes. We have him at about 20. That's really the only disparity. Solid enough point per minute, dude, somewhere in that like 0.9, 0.95 range. No problems getting there. But like, there's just these guys just don't look like some of these other spots that exist. It's really hard to look like Houston when your total is 26 points less than everybody else. You need something to catch. So you can get Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, John Isaac, Fultz, Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr. Those guys are last dudes into a lineup today. There's not a single priority from Orlando that I think people should be paying attention to in this spot. We have number 4 defense in Orlando against number 13 defense in Miami. They're 24th and 22nd in offense. They're 22nd and 29th in pace. These are 2 slow, shitty offenses and 2 good or at the very least above average defenses. It's a horrific DFS matchup.
It really is. It's bad. Jordan has the Sims run, our initial Sims run up on the screen. I assume you ran 5,000 in the contest generator, 25% to first. We're getting, 5% Franz Wagner, like you said, 2% Paulo Banchero, and that's with 150 lineups on a 6-game slate. So when you actually consider 2% of a guy on a 6-game slate and 150 lineups, we're just getting nothing at all. Jordan, go to Miami for a second. I want to see if we're pulling anything from Miami. Because, Josh, I would imagine we're not getting much from the Heat either.
I have one guy that I want to talk about for the Heat.
Go. Oh, and by the way, Tyler Herro is probable. If you're looking at that Q tag, he's probable with migraines. So we expect it. All we have is 9% Bam Adebayo.
Y'all are sleeping on the main guy here.
Who's the main guy?
Give me Jimmy Butler, man. I have 16% right now. He's 2% owned. I took his over on Prize Picks this morning, so go check that one out. Thanks to your boy Maxi for costing me yesterday.
I've told you, without Embiid,
like
that guy struggles, man. I told you.
7,500 for Jimmy Butler. Small forward only. He's a 1.13 fantasy point per minute guy over the past 30 days. I have him at 1.14. He's going to play 34, 35 minutes. 2% ownership? What? On a 6-game slate? Why? It doesn't make any sense to me. He needs 45 fantasy points to be like, nice, got it right. I don't think that's crazy at all. I like him as like he is a favorite GPP play for me today.
You're kind of selling me on this for a couple of reasons. One, we talk about it a lot. There's so many guys out there that, like, unless they're scoring 30 plus, they're pretty much dead to you. If Jimmy Butler gives you 30 plus, you're in store for a pretty solid game. And even if he doesn't, there's upside there. Like, is he a prolific rebounder or facilitator? No, but he's involved, constantly involved. Yeah. And in a close game, which it should be, right? Spread is only 2.5. He's going to play 36, 37 minutes. Like, he's going to get the minutes. So any 7,500, that I like that. Look, is it a terrible just game environment from like a pace perspective and total? Sure. But if you get 36, 37 minutes in a close game, yeah, it actually looks pretty good.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. I'm interested to see, I'm going to, hash through props and stuff later today, but I have him way higher. I have 6 more fantasy points to Jimmy Butler than we do right now.
Really?
Yeah. I got him 40 fantasy points in 35 minutes. We have 34 in 34.
All right. I like it.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see what he's shooting from 3 this year? Only on 2.2 attempts per game.
It could be anything.
Take a guess.
It could be 0 or it could be 60%. He doesn't shoot them, so like the percentages don't matter to me. I have no idea where you're leading me here.
44%.
Yeah, I believe that.
He has been attempting threes, not in an alarming clip, but he's averaging like 3 per game over his last 10.
That's not attempting threes.
Well, it's not Steph Curry attempting threes. It's definitely Jimmy Butler attempting threes.
He used to be at 3.5 back in the day. 1.8 last year. It's awful.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is Klay Thompson style, but
yeah, that's all he does is shoot threes now. I had to shit all over him in our Discord yesterday.
Over Klay?
Yeah. He doesn't get to the rim anymore. He shoots like 0.5 shots at the rim per game. It used to be way more than that. He can only shoot threes. He can't move.
His rotations are so weird too. Like,
I hate it. Well, they're benching him a lot now too.
Yeah. Like what is going? I was actually going to ask you that.
He sucks, dude. He's been shit for 6 years and nobody wants to say it because he's Klay Thompson.
6 years?
I mean, you got to remember, he missed 2 full seasons for torn ACL, torn Achilles. Like, he's just not that dude anymore. But
was one Achilles, one was ACL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say that he tore his ACL and then tore the Achilles on the comeback, but it could be vice versa.
When you deal with that many lower body injuries as a basketball player, your explosiveness is probably going to take a hit.
Yeah, it's gone. To me, like, I don't know how he gets any sort of real contract. I don't know who would give that to him. Every single indicator is disgusting. And it's not going to get better.
It's not.
He's 34, I think. He's not even young. He's younger than me, but
I don't want to do this, but I know, right? 34. I used to tell you all the time, like, when I remember watching games and thinking these are all like grown men, and now I look at them, most of them as kids.
Yeah, but it's weird because then you look at a kid like 21-year-old Paolo Banchero and he's 6'10", 240 or whatever, and it's like, kid? I mean, like, you're a grown, like, but how long have you been able to buy beer, man?
But I also mean, like, when you listen to them talk too,
Oh yeah,
like like huge freight, just big guys, and then you're like, oh, you know what? They are still kids. Anyway,
how long do you think Paolo Banchero has been able to buy a beer?
5 years.
I don't mean for real, and not like because they knew he played. He turned 21 2 months ago. That he is 6'10", 250. He's been buying beer since, if he likes beer, freshman year of high school.
He's got a baby face though.
Yeah, but if you're 6'6", 200 rolling into like some shithole corner store to buy a sixer, no one's saying a word to you.
You're probably right. And if they do, they're going to have some problems. All right.
Like, what do you mean? You think I'm a child? That's what you're telling me.
Here's what I want to do real quick before we get to this. Oh my God, this disgust. Can we just wipe Memphis out of the league, please?
There's nothing to say right now. They could look amazing today if these Q tags end up out. There's no way to talk about them. None.
Dude.
Zero. There's no way.
Jaren Jackson, doubtful. Xavier Tillman, doubtful. Vince Williams, Santi Aldama, John Conchar, Derrick Rose, questionable. Zaire Williams out. Like they're, and this is on top of everyone who's already been out. They could look amazing if all of those guys don't play, because then you just have like, or some of them don't play, and now you've got once again, just a massively shortened rotation. But it's gross, man. They're dropping like flies. There's nothing left. But they might have to forfeit on the
when
season.
I sort my depth chart for Memphis, I have 22 names. It's like, and they're all like, none of them are phony, other than I guess I'll make it 22. I guess technically I still have Steven Adams there.
How many would like the casual basketball fan know
that are active?
Mm-hmm.
1.5. Luke Kennard, and some people will be like, "Oh, Scottie Pippen, that must be his kid."
Yeah, that's a great call. Yeah. Aside from that, there's nothing.
No, anyway. Nobody knows Trey Jemison, Matt Hurt, Jacob Gilliard, Gigi Jackson, Tosan. Big body David Roddy is like on the fringes.
But not really.
No. It's bad.
I don't think there's much we can say about
it. Memphis is going to really mess some people up on like Sporkle quizzes and shit.
Yeah, big time. This is crazier than I've seen in a while. But here's the thing. They're 14.5-point dogs.
Yeah.
If Jaren Jackson and Xavier Tillman are both out, and all of the
and they're doubtful, by the way.
Correct. But this is why I'm framing it this way. If they're both out and all of the questionable guys play, then what do we do with them?
Nothing really. Santi Aldama is the best thing that you can get to, in my opinion. 7% owned. I have 10% right now. He's 5,700 power forward center, and he's like one of the few real NBA players on the team if he's able to play. We saw him get a boatload of minutes very recently. Played 37.5 and 34.5 in back-to-back games. As long as he can get out there, you're going to get to Santi Aldama. Now, if you get no Santi Aldama, no John Conchar, no Derrick Rose, and no Vince Williams, and they play 7 dudes again, it's like, all right, well, I guess we're going to play a shit ton of Memphis. It's horrid, dude. It's absolutely horrific.
I want to pull up the lineup generator and just see what we're getting to right now.
Let's do it.
My initial suspicion, right, is that Amin Thompson will be everywhere. And yes. Should be.
He will be heavily owned no matter what today, but could be the unassailable number 1 guy if he gets named the starter.
Without question. Jordan, let's do all lineups. By the way, it's a lineup generator for those of you guys wondering. Fantastic tool. People have been crushing with it lately too. Turning those old like 60 spots into 6,000 lately with the screenshots coming in, rocking the stochastic avatar. You love to see it. So we're chalky lineups. We're not going to lock anyone. We don't need to swap anybody. I just want to see what we're getting. And then we can save some of these lineups, Josh, see what the exposures look like, because I would say, all right, so that, where are you going? Where are you going? Hold on. I wanted to see some of these. We were getting some Amin Thompson with Holiday.
Yeah.
I don't think that's all that crazy because Holiday's so damn cheap.
No, I don't think so either.
So, all right, Jordan saved.
I have no problem with it at all.
I wanted to look through some of them. Doesn't matter. We saved the lineups. Go see our exposures. Achua, Thompson, Şengün, a lot of Houston, as it probably should be. Also, though, Josh, and we haven't gotten there yet, we're going to in a minute, a lot of New York Knicks on top of that.
Yeah, that's because they play 7 dudes a night. By the way, Aaron Holiday and Amin Thompson have played 208 minutes alongside of each other this year. Very easy to get to them both.
And yeah, you're talking $7,400 combined salary.
Yeah.
Right? What? Who cares?
No, it doesn't matter. We got to remember, Amin Thompson's 6'7". He is not like a little dude at all. He's very tall, long.
You can upload, by the way, guys, all these lineups. The one you can discard the ones you don't like, save the ones you like, see the exposures, or I'm sorry, see the optimal projection, see how chalky or contrarian these lineups are. And then once you save all the ones you like, you can export them to CSV, throw them straight into DraftKings or FanDuel, which is a very cool way of doing this. Not to mention that if you wanted to, like, I think one way that's probably overlooked, Josh, is being like, all right, I'm going to run, like in football, you run this type of stack, then you run that type of stack. I have no problem running, all lineups or balanced lineups and then contrarian lineups and just seeing which type of builds you like best on an individual slate. Maybe you even combine them.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong way to approach the slate, but find your lane. Find the thing that is working best for you for whichever contest you're in. Find the lineups that visually, like, you're not going to get a bad one coming out of the lineup generator that you want to hitch your wagon to. Like, you're starting from something good. So if you like it, you should feel pretty good about it, no matter what the construction is.
Absolutely. You guys want to check it out too. Link in the description and in chat. Try it out for a week. I think you'll truly love this tool. And if nothing else, it's going to produce better lineups than you're building by hand, because this is like the Sims tool light. All of these lineups are simulated behind the scenes. We're only giving you plus EV lineups every single day. And that's an important factor. Obi-Wan said, love that lineup generator. Yeah, man. We have a ton of people that watch these shows that are like, I love DFS. I can't pay for the Sims tool right now, but the lineup generator is a perfect price point. And that's the way it should be. Like,
yeah.
We were in Chicago when we developed this type of stuff. And we're like, we got to provide tools that are both for people who love DFS, but may not be able to shell out this much money or want to every month, but also are good tools. And I think we came up with something really good. I think our development team, our devs and our data team came up with something awesome.
Agreed.
Right, let's talk about the Knicks. So we hit Memphis. We saw in the lineup generator already getting a lot of Knicks. Jordan, I would assume in the Sims tool, we're also going to be getting a lot of New York Knicks. It's just the way it goes. We're working off of the same data in the Sims tool and the lineup generator. And right now you have 5 guys getting 20+% ownership. Precious, DiVincenzo, Hart, Brunson, Hartenstein, all of those guys.
Yeah.
The only real downside here is the massive blowout risk, even without Julius Randle.
And I don't even think that matters. They're playing a 7.5 man rotation.
That's a good point.
They're like, DiVincenzo's playing 38 to 40 every night. Brunson is basically doing the same. Josh Hart is doing the same. Precious Achiuwa is doing the same. They're going to get like 34 minutes through 3 quarters, no matter what the score is.
Yeah.
Like, they are going to get normal starter run, even in a blowout, through 3 quarters because they play so much. So I've got 60% DiVincenzo, 30 of Hartenstein, 34 of Brunson, 22 of Hart, 28 of McBride, 88 of Precious Achiuwa. I don't know what else you're supposed to do here. Like, Achiuwa's playing 38 minutes and he's projected for a double-double. Like, you can play him a power forward and center. DiVincenzo has 24% usage, 1.1 fantasy points per minute. And it's not like you're going to meet a lot of defensive resistance on the opposite side. These are all made up players on the Memphis. Like, they're like free agent signings in 2K. I think you got to play a ton of these dudes. I'm going to have a lot. We have aggregate ownership of 156. So you're getting, 1 to 2 Knicks in basically every lineup that you'll see. The only guy that has really big negative leverage is Dante DiVincenzo at -12. We still have him at 26% optimal, which is the second highest rate. The 7 guys that play a ton, DiVincenzo, Hartenstein, Brunson, Sims, Hart, McBride, Achiuwa. They're all very viable. Now, I have no Sims because he's flat 3K and center only, but you could make that work if you need to. Is it a good play? No, he's a terrible per minute dude. And you don't expect a lot of minutes, but all it takes is one rolled ankle or something for Hartenstein, and now Sims is playing 26 minutes or something. You just have to get a lot of these guys because the playing time is really difficult to get away from.
Absolutely. And Dan, the reason we don't allow like locking multiple people in the lineup generator, Josh and I talked about this the other day, is because like we want you to be getting good lineups. And when you start just locking multiple people, you're ultimately going to get like minus EV lineups. Not every time, but oftentimes that's going to be the case. Like if you're just locking Thompson and Precious Achiuwa, you're probably still going to get a ton of good lineups. But yeah, anyway, So yeah, last game, Precious Achua through 3 quarters, played 31 minutes. Josh Hart played 30 minutes. Jalen Brunson played 33 minutes. Even Hartenstein played 25 minutes. And Dante DiVincenzo played 32 minutes. That is just through 3 quarters of last game. You make a great point. It doesn't really matter as much as it would.
No. No, they'll be all at like 34 with 6 minutes to go, and then maybe that's when like you can get 6 minutes of blowout run and these guys play like starters.
Yep. It makes them really, really interesting right now. It does. Yeah. And this also the game might just not blow out, and now you're getting 40 minutes from all of them.
Yeah, yeah, there's also that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be aggressively ugly, but yeah.
Yeah, but just looking at the Sims, like our exposure to the Knicks, it's still early in the day. Things will change, particularly as we get more news. But you look at our exposure in the Sims, 62% Achua, 45% DiVincenzo, 41% Hartenstein, 33% McBride, 24% Josh Hart, just across the board.
Yeah. Like I don't have a lot of analysis for it because I don't think it's all that useful.
Yeah, exactly. What about Brunson, Jordan? Are we not getting Brunson?
I am.
Okay, and we're still getting a lot. We're still getting a good amount of Brunson too. So, yeah. What are the Knicks and the Rockets the two best teams on the slate right now?
I mean, I have 200. So they're the only two teams that have more than 100% ownership. At 156 for the Knicks, 209 for Houston. I have 262 of the Knicks and 170 of Houston. They're also my two most exposed teams.
All right. Let's keep it going.
Let's do it.
Next up, baby. Dallas Mavericks, Brooklyn Nets.
There's nothing we can say here.
Yeah, that is a problem. Both teams playing their second of a back-to-back.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spots that we can really dig into this morning. This one, a little bit more complicated because it's not Dante Exum's questionable. Derek Lively's out. We know that. But we also don't know what's going on with Luka, what's going on with Kyrie Irving, second of a road back-to-back. But then Brooklyn suffered injuries in game yesterday. We have no injury report yet. Cam Johnson's going to be questionable or just out. Lonnie Johnson might just be out or questionable. He only put Lonnie Walker, sorry.
Lonnie Johnson.
Lonnie Walker, the fourth. Who knows what's going on with him? Dorian Finney-Smith is out, and then Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons. Like this is a true mess on both sides. We will know. And I'll say this much. There's very likely going to be value in this game. We just don't have any of it right now.
Yeah. Like if Kyrie and Luka both play, they're the only two guys you're going to from Dallas. If one's out, then the other looks great and someone else probably looks a little bit better. If they're both out, then you get a lot more value from Dallas, and we've seen that a lot lately. There's just no way to have any idea. I would not be surprised at all if we see Richaun Holmes start today. I could see Maxi Kleber not playing this back-to-back after the minutes that he's been getting. And at that point, that's where, if we still have Lively out, that's where it starts to open up those 30-minute Richaun Holmes starts. But we are flying blind for Dallas, and they don't look all that great to begin with. Brooklyn, on the other hand, can look great, whether that's Cam Johnson, Dennis Smith Jr., we have in for 4% ownership. I have 28 of him right now. I gave him 24 minutes because I don't expect Lonnie Walker to play today after leaving early yesterday. I think Bridges looks great at 7,200. Claxton, Dinwiddie to a degree, even though he stinks. Like there's a lot to like from Brooklyn, but we don't know specifically what we're getting from Brooklyn yet. But I have 5 guys in double digits, 3 guys at 30% ownership, and 1 at 20.
Brooklyn's a tough one tonight. Oh, by the way, Maxi Kleber, back-to-back really solid games for him.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Like real life good.
Get him out there, you give him some minutes, ends up being okay. But yeah, I don't know if Cam Johnson or Lonnie Walker play, but good chance they don't.
Yeah, there's going to be some weird stuff going on for both of these teams that are just, there are so many, and it's not one of those situations where like we can break it down for each piece because there's so many moving parts.
There's too many moving parts. Yeah. Way too many moving parts. We got deeper.
Brooklyn looks good. No matter what news we get, there are a lot of good pieces from Brooklyn today.
Without question. And
Like you can see it in our ownership right now. If Bridges, Johnson, and Claxton are in, they're all 15% owned and 10 to 15% optimal. That's not going anywhere no matter what else changes.
This is there's only 7 o'clock games. There's a 9 p.m. game. But that 9 p.m. game, do you think that we're going to be in a scenario where, because I mean, the Sims tool has the late swap simulator, which is, it makes it just, at this point, it makes your life like, I don't worry about this stuff anymore.
Nope.
But do you think with this 9 p.m. game, just given, like, there's so many questionable guys, I'm just jumping ahead for a second. There's so many questionable guys for OKC, but all kind of like outside of Jalen Williams, they're all kind of depth guys. Wallace is questionable.
Yeah, none of them matter.
Yeah, I was just curious, like, what if a lot of them are out? Does it make any difference to you? Probably
They
not.
can all be
right?
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can all be out.
It doesn't matter because you're still getting your core guys. Yeah, it shouldn't matter. And if we need the late swap, we will, and it'll take 2 minutes to do so. But
that is very true.
Shouldn't be an issue. All right, let's move on from Dallas and Brooklyn. There's only so much we could do. We could talk longer.
It's just a broken game for right now.
Yeah. We could give you guys a bunch of bullshit reasoning for why this is happening and why this should happen, but ultimately we'd be wasting your time. We have the deeper dive. We have live before lock. We have all the tools for it over at stochastic.com regardless. Minnesota and Chicago, 217.5 total. Injury news here. So Levine's done for the year. Caruso's questionable. Williams is out. Minnesota, though, another clean bill of health for this team.
Yeah.
So what do we get into when it comes to the Minnesota Timberwolves today in the third lowest total game, but also very low total at 217.5?
So they're just sort of solid across the board. Give me 1 second. And you're seeing that in the ownership. 10% Edwards, 12% Towns, 15 Gobert, 12 McDaniels, 12 Mike Conley. And that's exactly how I see it. They're all very viable. For me, for value, I have Anderson and Conley at 4.9x, Towns, Reed, and Gobert at 5.1x, Edwards, McDaniels, both at 5.2x. Though that's 6, 7, 8. I have 9 guys between 4.9x and 5.2x their salary today. They all look ultra similar, and then you see the exact same thing coming out in the ownership. So whichever dude you like for Minnesota, you can make a case for it. Nobody has really big leverage. Nobody has really negative leverage. They're all sort of just a team of 10% dudes. You're probably getting one Wolf in every lineup that you have, and that's it. But it could be anybody.
Poga said Lonnie was massive fail. Why was he so chalky? He got hurt 5 minutes into his first rotation. He didn't come back.
Let's not use facts to break this bad boy down. Why was that chalky guy that only played 5? I wonder what happened there.
He didn't come back. By the way, looking back on this, though, if Johnson and Simmons and Walker are out, this could be, even on a second of a back-to-back, this could be a tight rotation with a ton of starter minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have a lot behind it. Harry Giles is not going to be out there playing 24 minutes tonight.
No, it's crazy, man. Because they only ran 8 guys last night anyway, right? And
they've been real tight lately, real tight.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They haven't played anybody outside of their rotation in non-garbage time in a month. Only Watford, Giles, and Noah Clowney have seen the floor outside of their regular rotation. And that is all like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. And Clowney only got 3.
This could look wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, on the other side, Chicago Bulls. How do we approach a Bulls team today that, I mean, not a whole lot has changed. DeRozan looks decent. Vooch is 8% owned. Caruso, if he plays, 8.8% owned. Dosunmu, 6.6. This team's kind of been the way they've been for a little while now. So there's nothing going to jump out at you for this game.
No, if Caruso's out, then you start thinking about like Torrey Craig, $3,200 power forward who probably steps into some more time. Maybe Julian Phillips or Dalen Terry scoops up some of that time, but that one will be interesting. It's just not going to boost Dosunmu or Kobe White. Maybe it's Javon Carter at 3K that becomes a little bit more interesting. Someone will look a little bit better if Caruso's out, but if he's in, Caruso, White, DeRozan, Vooch, sort of all the same as they normally are. DeRozan's getting the most ownership at 15%. I certainly like Jimmy Butler more in GPPs if he's 15 and Butler's 2, but I do think that DeMar DeRozan looks like a good play. I think Kobe White is the sneaky one in a GPP. We have all these guys with positive leverage, so Chicago looking like the GPP team.
Yeah, they are. They look pretty decent.
Yeah.
Aside from that, though, kind of cut and dry. They're just all not guys.
The Caruso news looms large.
For sure. For sure. Torrey Craig's probable, by the way, so he should be out there. Not guys you're jamming in cash, but definite possible tournament plays, like you said. And we've seen a decent amount of these Bulls guys in tournaments be pretty good lately. Let's wrap this up with OKC and Utah. Before we do, quick reminder, Prize Picks, $100 first match deposit bonus when you sign up using the link in the description or in chat. Not only that, only here are you getting all of our tools over at oddshopper.com for the first month. Now you might say, what is oddshopper.com? I'll tell you. Pretty simple. It is everything, all of the kind of the industry leading tools, the Sims tool, the lineup, everything we have at Stochastic. We have all of that for sports betting, but we have all of that for these DFS pick'em sites like Prize Picks too. You can go over there and check it out if you haven't done so yet. Poke around. You'll see why not only getting the $100 first match deposit bonus over at Prize Picks, not only just getting all of these free squares that they're going to be clearly throwing out there for the Super Bowl and NBA throughout the week, but getting access to all of the tools we have at oddshopper.com for the entirety of the month for free when you just sign up and deposit $10 at Prize Picks. Pretty sweet. You look at fantasy optimizers up top, you go to Prize Picks Optimizer. What it does, it's literally building out the lineups for you. It's giving you the expected the EV on all of these, expected win rate, everything you need to know. And then you can swap out legs if you want. If you wanted to swap one leg out for another, one play out for another that you like more to put in your lineup, you can do that too. So at the end of the month, worst case scenario, Josh, you go, man, I hate Prize Picks. I hate Odd Shopper, but all I did was deposit $10 and maybe I even won some money on Prize Picks in the process. Or you love it and you've won a ton of money using the Prize Picks lineup optimizer and you've won a lot of money just playing on Prize Picks, 10xing, 25xing your money and already doubling your deposit bonus out of the gate. I'd say it's a win-win either way you look at it.
Yeah.
What are your Prize Picks play? Give me a Prize Picks play for today to get people started if they're signing up.
I've got Jimmy Butler more than his points, rebounds, and assists line, and I'm guessing that is going to move. That is my expectation.
What did you get it at?
27.5.
Wait, did you say it was
PRA?
Wait, really? PRA was 27.5?
Correct.
Seems shockingly low.
That's why I took it.
I thought you were going to say just PR or PA.
No. No, I went the full bore.
Wow. Okay. That is surprising.
Still 27.5.
What's it at on the books?
Don't know.
Let me just check real quick. Then we can close this game out. Now you've got me curious.
Alrighty.
Well, the good thing is I can type it in the Odd Shopper and get EV on all of these and see every prop across the board at every book. Yeah, 27.5. All right. That is interesting. By the way, Pinnacle has it 27.5, but juiced minus 135 to the over. So you might be on to something here. Probably moves.
I mean, I'm sure I am. I'm incredibly intelligent.
OKC, Utah. Let's close it out. The Thunder 3-point favorites, 240 total on the road. Jalen Williams, Wallace, questionable. Isaiah Joe's out. Like you said, a lot of these depth guys don't really make much of a difference, but it is just as far as like game environment goes and all of that looks pretty good. You mentioned to me the other day that Utah defensively at home has been significantly better than they have on the road. You were not wrong. Much better at home. But SGA still looks pretty good here. Yeah. He's just fantastic. Should be a close game. Chet Holmgren, Aaron Wiggins we have at 14. That always feels good. Always feels good jamming Aaron Wiggins. It's the worst feeling in the world. But SGA and Chet Holmgren. I like that tonight.
I certainly like SGA, but we have him with some pretty sizable negative leverage. I tend to be in agreement as of right now. Certainly want to get to him, but I only have 12% compared to the 28 we are showing. I have basically the exact same projection that we do. He looks good for sure, but I prefer paying up to like Jalen Brunson right now, Alperen Şengün right now. Potentially Luka, who knows? We'll see what that looks like. I like SGA, and it's a great matchup. Fast pace, bad defense, all that stuff. He's sort of just priced where he should be, and the ownership is a little more sizable than you would really like it to be. I don't have much else from OKC, though. Chet looks totally fine. I think he's appropriately owned at 16%. I think Wiggins is basically appropriately owned around 10, but not a lot of standout options for OKC. Now, maybe you lose Case and Wallace and both Williams, Jalen, and then you do have a little bit more value. Some like Aaron Wiggins alternative options. That can happen if you get enough Q tags here. But if Jalen Williams, the normal starter, is in today, then you're really only paying attention to those 5 dudes.
Yeah, pretty much. Shy Baby said, what about Ish Smith last night with a face palm? I thought
I would play if I knew he played 34 minutes like he did last night. I would have had even more.
I would have had as much as Smith. Well, hold on a second though. He gave us 22 and a half at 3,600. He certainly was not a reason you were losing anything last night.
No, if you could go back in time and know his minutes, you should have him in every single lineup.
Every lineup. If I told you Ish Smith was playing 34 minutes,
I would have had him everywhere.
Minutes at 3,600. You have as much Ish Smith as you could possibly get.
I would.
Spencer Dinwiddie was the real problem. The guy played 39 minutes and was worse than Ish Smith and was $1,400 more expensive. Ish Smith was,
by the way, in the winning lineup and that chopped, and the third place lineup that chopped 3 ways.
Ish was in the winning lineup that chopped and the third place lineup, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was $3,600. He gave you 23.
Correct.
You take
he
that. He
was 28% owned in the contest. It's in the big, in the fadeaway last night. What did I say? It was 28%.
Yeah.
He was 37% owned by max enterers.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic play yesterday.
And played way more minutes than any of us even projected him to.
Yeah.
If you knew he was getting those max enterers, would have had him at like 90%.
Yeah. I had 54.
What do you want to do outside of OKC? Is there anyone else with OKC, or do you want to wrap this up with Utah?
Let's wrap it up.
All right. And by the way, appreciate all of you who have hung with us this morning and tapped that thumbs up. We're 137 likes. Appreciate you guys. Goes a long way. Get this north of 50, north of 150. We'll be feeling good. Thank you for making the Stochastic YouTube channel your source of NBA information each and every morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do. I know what you mean.
We should start a different show, you and me. A sports-centric betting / other sports / whatever. Pop culture. Vision Pro.
Are you a Pete Davidson fan?
I mean, no. Well, here, when you phrase it like that, like I'm not a Pete Davidson fan, but I have no animosity towards the fella.
Okay. He's coming to Wilmington for stand-up next month, so we're going. We just got tickets today. Is
his stand-up good?
It's all right.
Okay.
Some of it's solid. Like he's obviously been a stand-up his entire life. I think being on SNL probably stunted it a bit by just like not being able to do as much as you would want.
Pete's the one whose dad died in 9/11, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Jimmy Carr's got the best joke ever for that one.
Jimmy Carr's ruthless, man.
For the what roast was that? Bruce Willis, I think. Yeah. So many people have been making jokes about the death of Pete Davidson, of Pete Davidson's dad on 9/11. That's terrible. This is not the roast of Pete Davidson's dad. That happened in 2001.
Oh, dude, that was those roasts used to be amazing back in the day.
Yeah.
Jeselnik had a crazy one. Uh,
He went on a run.
my favorite, because he's my favorite, was Norm going up there and intentionally bombing. And
Yeah,
and
amazing.
even some of the comedians didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, it was
Like
so good.
it was crazy.
You could see Saget trying to hold it together and just
Dude,
can't because
Saget,
he knows.
Gilbert Godfrey. Also, guys, if you're into comedy, Gilbert
Yeah,
Godfrey's roasts of Roseanne,
Geraldo.
Rosilla, dude, he's done some. He did one though that they couldn't put this. He did a 9/11 joke, and he did a 9/11 joke like a month
On the
after it
12th.
happened, and they never put it on. He also did what's it called? What's that crazy joke called? The aristocrats joke.
Oh, his aristocrats is fantastic.
And they never aired that either. Do you know he had Bob Costas on his podcast laughing so hard at the aristocrats joke that he was crawling underneath of the table?
Yeah.
And Bob Costas had Gilbert take that podcast off and take that part out because it was like so bad for his image. Did you know that?
I mean, it's such a preposterous joke. You gotta, for anybody that hasn't seen it, watch the documentary on it.
God, it was the best.
Because like a lot of people have, everybody gets their own like version of the aristocrats joke.
Yeah,
but
of course, Gilbert just nailed it. Josh said the tsunami joke. Yep, he lost his Affleck endorsement for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spencer said dark humor is the best. It is, but you have to do it right. Like it has to be, it can't just be dark for the sake of being dark and you're like, the hell's wrong with it? It has to be funny.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys are funny. All right. TGAJ said, went to Theo Vaughn Saturday. That dude's awesome. He's a great, great guy. I just don't find him particularly funny.
I don't love his stand-up, but I want to watch that dude talk for like 30 minutes to somebody else because he's just going to say really ridiculous things, like talking about eating owls and stuff on Rogan's podcast. Like that shit cracks me up.
Yes.
He had some guy telling some story about it. There was some kid in his neighborhood that used to make him bury his shit in the yard so he would hang out with him. Like those sorts of things I'm in.
For sure. All right. Utah Jazz. But yeah, stand-up's not that good. Stand-up's not that good.
It's fine. Better than it used to be.
There is a set on YouTube if you guys are interested where he's tripping face on mushrooms, doing his
Speaking of, we haven't talked haven't talked about Michael Bublé, have we?
No, but that was wild. That was real. He was definitely tripping. You could see it in his eyes and you could see it in the cadence of his speech.
Yeah. He's up. Like it felt very familiar.
Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't peaking, but he was definitely still there. It was happening. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I thought I was in Blades of Glory until like I caught that wave and I realized, oh my God, I'm at the All-Star game.
And if you've done it, everyone knows what that wave means for sure.
Oh yeah.
Until that wave goes dark, and then you know what that wave means as well.
It must have been so much fun.
Colin Sexton, 12%, Chris Dunn, 11. Utah, another just overall clean bill of health, a healthy team right now. And some of these price points are slightly prohibitive, but how much do you get? Like right now, we have Chris Dunn getting 11.5%. I think that could change based on some of the news we get with other teams, though.
Yeah, everything is liable to be moved around here, but this Utah team looks a lot like Minnesota to a degree, where like everybody's like an 8% owned guy. The highest we have for ownership is Sexton at 11. And then you've got a 6, a 9, a 6, a 7, a 10. Like there's a lot going on here. And it's just because we know what Utah is up to. They've got a 10-man rotation. They all play like 26 minutes or 22 minutes on the opposite end of it. You don't have optimal rates that are crazy. Like we have Sexton's being massive. We also have Jordan Clarkson's leverage being massive. I'm not really getting a giant stand on anybody from Utah, but I have Markkanen, I have Clarkson, I have Sexton, I have Keontae George. You can get to a little bit of Chris Dunn at 3,600. There's just not a single guy that you look at on the Jazz against, particularly against OKC in their defense, where you're just like, yeah, I got to get a little bit more of that dude.
Two best teams right now, Houston Rockets, Indiana Pacers. I think we agree on that.
Yeah.
Brooklyn could end up looking really good.
Very good.
Right? Brooklyn could end up looking good. Memphis, like we're not going to get into it, but Memphis could end up looking at least
Memphis could end
moderately.
up having plays. They will never look good today, no matter what happens.
Right, exactly. And that's pretty much what it comes down to. I'm a loser till I win the Millie. Said, hey, Dave, did you eat anything weird for breakfast today? No. Few days a week, I try and hit like the 18-6 fast. Gives me great energy. Today's one of those days. So I've not eaten yet today. Just water and coffee.
Same.
Yeah. I feel so much better when I don't.
Full carnivore since last Monday.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Are you having wild dumps?
Not really. No more wild than they normally are.
Shane and Matt were saying that like they had crazy explosive dumps. You do a full carnivore?
Amazing. Yeah, I feel amazing.
Good for you, man. That's awesome. I've never done
Zero crash, super alert. My sleep has been exceptional. Couldn't be better. Last night I had a big I had 5 eggs, a bunch of sausage, delicious Brinner.
That's awesome. So eggs, no cheese or anything. Just how did you just 5?
I am working in a little bit of dairy.
Okay, so like 5 scrambled eggs with a little bit of cheese.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I had a feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like 95% aggressive carnivore.
That's good though. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. No veg, like nothing else other than that. But I'll add in a little, like I'll throw in a slice
I told
of
Jordan
cheddar or something.
I tried to get Jordan to do this, but like every 3 weeks doing a 24-hour fast. So like you don't eat.
I could do that and not even notice right now.
But here's the thing. So could I. It's not difficult. But oftentimes I just don't want to. I don't think I've ever felt better in my life when I've done that.
Yeah.
Feel insane energy. I think I might need your guys' support. I think I'm ready to embark upon the 48-hour, not 72-hour yet, because the autophagy, whatever. But 48-hour, I think I'm ready to embark on that and see if I can persevere.
I need shit to do. Like I can't have a regular day where I'm sitting around the house or I'm like, you start thinking about it. If I can keep myself busy, I don't give a shit about the food.
Yep. I hear you. But the only thing that concerns me, and I'm sure people in chat have done it, the only thing that's difficult for me, it's not that throughout the day. It's I know trying to fall asleep on an empty stomach is going to be real tough for me. That's the part
that would be easy for me.
Really? Not me. Yeah. When I'm hearing those sounds, yeah.
Yeah. I picked up the electrolyte powders too. I picked up some Element, so I've been starting my day off with a giant glass of water and electrolytes to like keep myself neutral since I'm only doing mostly meats. Like I just said that I had like 1.5 pounds of chicken breast for dinner 2 nights ago. Awesome. Yeah.
John P, fasting is good for overall health, but not for muscle protein synthesis. You're correct. Yeah, because if you're trying to jam everything into a 6-hour window, can't synthesize all of it. But if you were to do like a 24 or 48-hour, your body actually doesn't use muscle as energy or anything. Like you don't lose that if you're doing that once like every month or whatever. So
I've been feeling exceptional. weight is down a dramatic amount of just inflammation and what 8 or 9 pounds in 8 days.
Happy for you.
But it's all like water weight and inflammation and stuff. But even still, feel great.
Swoop said true fasting is without anything, including water. Yeah, I'm water fasting. I don't. Like, I'm not trying to torture myself. I want to, feel better. Autophagy, cellular recycling, that type of stuff. That's all I care about. And it's good stuff. But no, I'm drinking my coffee in the morning. Like, I'm not losing my coffee in the morning.
No, to me, it's like 80-20 of life. Like, I'm not going to give up having a coffee in the morning. I don't put like 4 tablespoons of sugar in it or anything like that. I don't put any of that. I do a little bit of protein, the chocolate collagen protein powder. Minimal caloric addition. Just
sure. I go really straight black coffee. I go black coffee. No. I thoroughly enjoy it. It doesn't, it doesn't bother me at all. But
I don't mind black coffee. I just rather it tastes better.
No, Swoop, you're right. I'm just saying I don't need to look. This is the way I look at things. I want to be healthy. I want to feel better, right? I want to reduce all of I'm getting older, 36, 37 in a month. Doesn't sound old for those of you guys, but like, once you hit a certain age, you start to feel it. My whole philosophy in life right now is just not to torture I'm not going to torture myself to do things. Like I don't need, like I'm working out. I'm doing 1.5-hour workout sessions 7 days a week. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do any of that. Just keep it going. And I'm not going to like stop drinking. No, I'm doing all this stuff so I can have the drinks and have fun on occasion. Like,
I
that's
did
why.
stop drinking.
What's that?
I did stop drinking.
Good for now. But
Yeah, like when I drive up to Baltimore in 2 weeks, like I'm gonna drink that night.
Right.
And I'm gonna have sushi. Like I'm gonna eat.
Because you're doing all of this to better yourself, not make yourself miserable.
Yeah,
That's
I'm not
what
doing it
saying.
every day. Yeah.
Right.
I need to drink a lot less at my own home. There's no need for that, really.
We'll close on this. Josh of Los Angeles said, you can't stop drinking unless you're a pussy. All right. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Wonderful chat as always. Remember, you want to check out the Sims Tool lineup generator, all that stuff. No matter what level of player you are, whether you're taking it seriously, casually, but you want to win some money, links in the description and in chat. First match deposit bonus up to $100, fully matched on Prize Picks, plus a free month of Odd Shopper down there. If you want to check that out. If you ever have any questions, hit me up on Twitter. My DMs are open. Loughran_D, LOUGHY_D. Follow Josh at Josh Engleman. Shout out to Jordan Klein for producing this show. All right, brother. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning. You on the deeper dive? You are on the deeper dive tonight.
I am. You're not here tomorrow, I don't think.
I'm here tomorrow. I'm not here. Oh no, right. And NFL strategy show.
You and I are done for the week.
Are you off Friday?
No.
Oh, do I guess. Oh yeah, we got another NFL show on Friday. That's right. Yeah.
Anything else you want to know about your schedule this week?
All right, we'll see you guys. Appreciate it as always. Peace.